All right, we're back, everybody. Now listen, on Sundays, I like to do a quick live on Instagram to show you what I meal prepped for the day and what I did that weekend, and then it kind of gives everybody ideas. Y'all were mean about the carrot cake muffins. You demanded the recipe. So guess what? I got it for you today. What's funny is so many things I do on Sundays, I don't have recipes for. I kind of just throw stuff together. So I had to remake them and write it all down, what I did, but I have them for you here. And what I love about this recipe is it's super adjustable. You can add in whatever you want. Now, yesterday we had Krabby's Supper Club here. They were talking about their carrot cake. And when I eat carrot cake, I want all the stuff. I want the stuff in it. I want the textures of dried fruit, and I want nuts, and I just want a big chunky carrot cake. So that's what I do for my breakfast muffins. So let's start with the dry ingredients. I have a cup of flour. What we learned today, and I pretty much knew, but Sarah was smart. Sarah made some this morning so we could show you, and she made it with gluten-free flour, and they look great. So 1 cup of flour or gluten-free flour, whatever you want to do. And then I'm going to add in a ½ cup of protein powder. I use a vanilla protein powder, whatever you want. And listen, if you're not in the mood to go buy a $30 protein powder, like, I get it. Go ahead and just do another ½ cup of flour. So you can just add ½ cup of flour instead. This to me just helps bulk it up a little bit in the morning when I want breakfast. So we're gonna add some sugar in here. Now for my sugar, sometimes I use coconut sugar, sometimes I use regular sugar. It's what's in the house. You know I'm gonna do a little salt in here because we like the sweet and salty. I'm also gonna do a teaspoon of cinnamon because that goes so well with all the stuff we're about to do. And then I have a ½ teaspoon of baking powder. Baking powder? Baking soda. Baking powder. Baking soda. You'll be able, this is why I do this on purpose. So you go to our Facebook page and you have to follow us so you can get the recipes. So, you know, that was on purpose. All right, so give that a good whisk. Combine all that really well. And then let's get our wet ingredients together. So I like to use for this one, instead of eggs, I do applesauce, an unsweetened applesauce. Sometimes I have chunky applesauce in. If my mom made a bunch of apples, my mom likes to make applesauce for us. So if I have some chunky applesauce, I'll use that, or just grab some supermarket applesauce, whatever you want to use. I'm going to do a good dash of vanilla. You can see I kind of talk sometimes about cleaning as you go. I'm that person. If I was home right now, I would now go put this in the cabinet. So that's why you see me move everything out of the way, because if it's cluttered, then I feel cluttered and I clean as I go. Now, a little bit of a surprise ingredient here. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 teaspoons of white vinegar. For me, the white vinegar really just adds a brightness to this. A lot of heavy stuff going on here. It adds a brightness and kind of brings out the flavors of the vegetables and the fruit in it. So 2 teaspoons white vinegar. Everybody has that in their house. Just throw it in. And then we're going to do a ½ cup of oil. And for me, no, 1/4 cup, excuse me. I use coconut oil. It's a little bit healthier, but again, use what you have. You have vanilla, or excuse me, if you have like a canola, vegetable, any of those, I'm fine with it. For me, I just happen to have a big thing of coconut oil around all the time. So that's what I use. And I'm going to whisk that all together. Now when you get coconut oil, if you've never used it before, it's solid. It looks like shortening almost. It looks like a Crisco. So you just throw it in the microwave for a minute and it melts down. It's really easy. Or if you keep it in a warm place, it stays liquefied. But sometimes it's solid and it kind of scares people. So I'm going to move those to the side for a minute. This is what I decided. Gosh, I'm just covering the cutting board. This is what I decided today is going to go in. Shredded carrots. And we've got some grated carrots here, not the you know, I love to do handfuls of like grated carrots into foods like stir fries and stuff. For this, you want to grate them. You want that nice and fine so it really just, you know, really distributes well throughout the batter. I add zucchini into mine. Not typical for a carrot cake, but it adds some nutrients. But I did grate it and put it in some paper towel because we're going to squeeze all that extra liquid out because that affects the baking. So if you're going to add zucchini, you got to do this step. Otherwise, you're going to get a wet batter. It's gross. All right, and then now here's your chance. Do you want pineapple? Do you want raisins? Do you want craisins? Do you want dried cherries? I love dates. I am a date girl. I'll either do dates or figs, dried figs in this carrot cake, because that's just what I like. But you add in whatever you like. I'm just going to do a little choppy chop on these. They get a little sticky, so I just kind of work slowly. And yeah, if you don't want any dried fruit in there, you don't have to. I think you can see that this batter is pretty adjustable to whatever you have in your pantry. It's a good pantry clean out. So I make these on Sundays because I love to do a Sunday meal prep, get myself set up for the week. It just puts me in a good mood to get everything organized and ready so that way when life gets crazy, I'm ready to go. And these are ones that I made 3 weeks ago that you all wanted the recipe for. And then I didn't eat them. I put them in the freezer because Sarah went to Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is my mothership. And she was there and I said, would you please, she said, do you need anything? And I said, would you please grab me the sesame bagels? They're my favorite breakfast. And she got me 2 weeks worth of sesame bagels. So I just pulled them out of the freezer and I'm eating them this week now. So the point of the story is they freeze well because I decided to skip the healthy and go straight for the carbs. What? It's so shocking. All right, wet is going into dry here. Now, one thing you need to know about this, it is a thick batter. She's thick, so don't be thinking you're gonna get a nice loose batter. It gets really thick, especially once you add the veggies in. That's okay, I'm looking for a dense muffin. And then once it's kind of mostly combined, let's get in our zucchini. Let's get in our carrots. Let's get in our dates. And let's get in, I love to add nuts in this because I like the crunch. So I'm using pecans today, but you use whatever you want. If you like almonds, walnuts, whatever you got, pantry clean out. And now you're really just gonna give this a good mix and you're gonna mix it and go, I don't think this is right. This doesn't feel right. It feels thick and dry. Just keep stirring. Let the moisture from the vegetables and the fruit get in there. And just take a moment. I don't want you to think you did anything wrong because this is not a typical muffin recipe. It's gonna be super wet. Okay, so now this is looking pretty good. I love it because it's mostly fruits and vegetables and then just like a little bit of flour and some powdered protein. So that's what I want. Nice and healthy in the morning. Okay, so I always use the muffin cups for the only reason of I hate cleaning muffin tins. I hate it. And they're so easy to grab on the go. So I don't even know. Sarah, do we have a scoop or no? No, we don't. Like an ice cream scoop. She knows everything. Look at her. Everybody needs a Sarah at home. Wouldn't that be nice to be at home and be like, do we have this? And then poof, here comes Sarah. So now all I'm gonna do here is get some good scoops here, get them in. I go almost to the top because these don't really rise. They just stay nice and dense. I have a 350-degree oven and you just cook them till they're light brown and firm. Throw them in the freezer, but I throw them in a freezer bag and just throw them in my fridge. And they stay great all week for me to grab on the go. I will often eat these in the car because they're not messy. They're not crummy. So they're really, really easy to eat in the car. I would like to pretend that my husband and kids eat these, but they don't. So they're all mine. So let me show you now what they look like now that I've demoed a couple of them. This is what you're gonna find. Now these are the gluten-free ones and they look exactly like mine. But look at that, they're little, they're dense. The inside, let me show you. Look at that, it's just all full of nutrition and cinnamon and deliciousness. So, meet us back here. Abby, we got some fun stuff to try, Abby and I, so we'll meet you back here in just a minute when Fox 11 Living returns.